Welcome back to Kin in Line. This is part 46, I think. We've gone back in time again to about 1978, and this is a notebook I kept where I did all sorts of doodles and whatnot. Anyway, there's some quite interesting stuff in here which I thought we should have a look at. I really am quite taken with this bottom drawing of horses and the guy with a cigarette. Clearly, even though I wasn't sketching very well from life, I was starting to get starting to enjoy drawing the human figure and incorporating it into compositions. And here I sort of played with the flow of cheekbone shapes and forehead shapes and distorted them a bit. We saw this fellow at the end of the last section. Again, just taking the human form apart and reassembling it. And here is a dustpan and brush. A very sort of odd-looking door. As I said, I did a lot of body surfing. While my brothers mainly surfed, I enjoyed body surfing. And this was me kicking out, I suppose. Nice wave, just with the sun so hot it's actually melting. Here's another body surfer, sort of shooting through a wave. Don't know if that's actually practical. Look at the dotted lines to show the concealed form. Now these are actually drawn from life, from within this was done from within the lounge of our house, which had a wall of glass out the front. And before all the trees and everything grew up in front of it, and we used to have a magnificent view of the sea. So there's a couple of dogs probably lying on what we call the terrace, which was actually a huge water tank out the front, with a concrete slab on top. And so it was a nice deck, as well as providing us for the first 10 odd years of my life with our drinking water, before we had water laid on by the municipality. And this is a drawing I did of the house that my dad designed. That was quite an interesting design, really, with these beautiful, I don't know what sort of type of wood they were, but these beams went right from the front to the back. Almost a flat roof, which actually led to the occasional leak. But anyway, our bedroom, I shared a bedroom with my two older brothers during my teens, and that's where we got up to all our mischief, in that room on the end there. Just as an interlude, I think I made a carving like this, or attempted to. And then this was a view I did of the house from the front, with that wall of glass. And the terrace out the front there. It's a bit of neglected. The house is decayed over there. This was built in about 1952 or so. Then chess sets were my obsession for a while in art school. I don't know why, but I had some fun here with the shapes of them. Look at that down. Putting faces on these things was quite an interesting idea. I think I might have got that from Alice in Wonderland, but here's a king and queen. And it only occurred to me now that I've sort of given them these human faces. And more of the same, really. Yeah, this was one of my designs, which I definitely completed. Playing with the horse shape. And then I did a painting with one of my shapes in a sort of irregular shaped background, so the canvas itself was irregularly shaped. And yeah, it was part of my final year, 4th year. Having a bit of fun with tones and quite nice. I was never really into all these important, supposedly optical, I can't even remember what they called it, with the the spectrum, sort of circle, spectral circle or something. So on one occasion at art school, we were notified by the museum, which was just across the road of Lucan Street from the technical college. The museum curator said, no, there's a barn owl. I think it's a barn owl. It's actually, this looks more like a spotted eagle owl. Anyway, it was in one of their sort of garages, a big open garage. It had found a perch there. And so we all trooped across and tried to sketch this thing before he flew off. And actually, when I look at this drawing here, that I think was done by Mr. Lug. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't my effort. Yeah, we've just got the East London Library Centenary, 1976. That's quite a long time. It started in 1876. It's incredibly long innings. Still going strong, of course, hopefully. Yeah, so this was that owl again. Never really captured it. Sterling effort there. And then this, I think, was done. Let's just try and put it aside here. I think this was done at Jeffreys Bay. My mum and I went down to pick my brother Donald up. He'd spent a weekend there, or a week or something, surfing. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sign here was an apartheid sign. Every beach had its whites only, or blacks only, or usually whites only. That was apartheid. It's what we grew up opposing. And then this, I think, was early Jeffreys Bay village in about 78 or so. A little section looks like swings and a roundabout and a slide in the foreground, so there must have been a little park nearby. Jeffreys Bay has become a big town now, and it's, I think, lost that early character that made it and Cape St. Francis famous in the early days of surfing in the 60s. And there's a little abstract which is quite pleasant. I don't know where I got these beads and necklaces from, maybe the museum. It's possible we went and looked at them. And done a little abstract again. Probably Paul Klee, I think is how they pronounce him, inspired these. And obviously there's a bit more history of art thrown in. Just everything very